Hey snackers, this is Kareem.
Hey everyone, Matt the Napoli here.
Welcome to episode 140 of Snack Minute.
Today we're talking to our buddy Mario, who's going to show us some cool stuff that he does with ThousandEyes and a little integration with Microsoft.
OneDrive.
Crap, OneDrive. Right. Thank you, Kareem. Mario, welcome, and would you mind introducing yourself to the snackers?
Hello, this is Mario Monterrubio. I'm based out of Mexico City. Have been working at Cisco for 10 years now, and part of the services organization as a technical account manager.
Good to have you on. So, talk to us a little bit about the automation script that you have, and just give us some background on why did you build it?
For example, I mean, we have been detecting some outages lately. The last one that happened for, let's say, the Microsoft products was in regards to Microsoft Teams, and they were not able, for example, at some points to log in. So I mean, if you have a simple HTTP server just targeting a specific URL for, let's say, OneDrive or Microsoft Teams, may not be enough to actually tell if the application is up or not. So we have a way with this transaction test to log in, having a service account, log in into that specific application. For example, what this is doing, it's once you have logged in, it's clicking on a specific OneDrive file, downloading it. Wait until it is fully downloaded, and then what it's doing, it's logging out. So you have like a full perspective or monitoring within the application, and not only like, okay, I'm able to get to the door, like let's say to the door of the application and just upload the page. You're actually measuring if the application is performing correctly in an automated manner.
That's awesome. I didn't know that ThousandEyes could set up these kinds of tests for third-party applications. That's awesome.
It is, and it's one of the features within Thousand Eyes that provides a lot of value.
I'm kind of blown away because I always kind of thought of Thousand Eyes as kind of an infrastructure back end monitoring tool, and being able to actually add a layer on the front end to say, oh, by the way, on top of us making sure that the connectivity is okay and that the throughput's good and the bandwidth is there and we're not getting any latency. On top of that, we're now adding a layer on saying, hey, the actual web page is able to be filled in correctly and accessed. That's, I mean, I can't think of being more end to end. So, anyways, Mario, can you go into showing us how the recorder works? And I see that it looks like it's building code on the fly, which is really cool, but interesting to see how this
Right.
plays out.
Like for example, we could do like a brief demo. We have this recording button right here, this red button where you only need to get the URL. Say it's, for example, this URL.
Hmm.
And let me go back. You're setting up like, okay, what's gonna be like the window size? Let's go to desktop medium, the resolution like of the browser, because the way this works, just to provide a little bit of technical details, it has a Chromium browser embedded into the Recorder IDE. So it opens
Hmm.
an instance of that Recorder browser based upon these metrics that we see in the screen. And you can even select like the default version right now, it's Chromium 118, or you can go with the
Hmm.
newer version of Chromium 120, because you may know that sometimes websites behave differently between browser versions. So you can do the one that it's production and the one that it's going to be the next one in a few, let's say 2 or 3 months maybe. And you can even test like the incognito mode. So let's just jump right in, and I'll start. So we get this Chromium window open, and in here, what we do is to get like the email, right?
Hmm.
You can just copy and paste it, or you can type it in. Hit next. Go back to this place, and we have even for like to be able to save all of this. in a secure manner. We have a way to store the credentials. That's like security. It's always top of mind. Well, let me go
Yep.
back to Chromium, and here we paste the.
I would change that password after
This is
this.
one of the pop-ups, right? We also need to navigate through this one all the time.
Mm-hmm.
We're hitting no. And then we'll go to the page where we have the OneDrive folders and files and all that stuff. So what we're doing here, this is a personal one. And for example, we can select, let's say, this one, right? With this check. And oh, no, that's a folder. Let me try to tweak it a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Expand it. We can check this is a PDF file, and then we hit on download, right? We get the PDF right here, and we hit in here like for the account, then we hit on sign out, right? It's a
Okay.
simple task in this case. It could be as complex as you may like. This is like the last page. So we go back to the recorder and hit stop. And as you see, all of the activity that we did, it is now translated to JavaScript. We
Oh
have
my
like the
God, that's so cool.
CSS. These are values, right? Like for example, if we're navigating to, it's what it's doing. Just to show you a little bit, it's a function of 12.
Basically, so Mario, basically what you've done is you've recorded the screen, you've captured the steps, it's now scripted, so you can put that on an automated trigger, and every so often you can go make sure that the connection is happening. When it fails, and if it fails, could you then do another step after that to find out where the failure is, or is that part of the automation, the automated process itself?
For example, one of the things that we have detected in, for example, this is the result, right? So what
Yeah.
we could do is to play it again. That's the natural next step, right? It's do it again. I'm not doing anything. It's doing it on its own,
On its own.
While it's doing
so
it
it'll
on its
get the
own, to watch it real quick, how do you bypass two-factor authentication if that was most tools have that
Really good
today?
question, Kareem.
exactly right. Usually, depending on the actual MFA that you may have, and as you see, for example, it just finished, right? So it's all done, it closed, there was no errors. But going back to your question, if you're if you have MFA, like there are some that may require like a token, and there are some we can bypass using an automated manner. But for example, if you're using like within Cisco, like you're using Duo and you need a push, that's something that we're not able to do right now, right? Because we're required of a mobile device, right, to make it happen. A lot of the companies are now using that kind of method. In that case, what we ask the customer is for this specific account being used for the transaction is to bypass that Duo or Microsoft authentication portion where you need to hit the push and allow it over, right? There are some that are OTP or using tokens, or maybe let's say WAUth, that can be bypassed automatically. So depending on the MFA that they are using, it's the method we will use.
And I mean, we could potentially stop the process. I mean, it could be just testing that the authentication service is up,
Right.
and you could skip the MFA process. You don't necessarily need to download a file or something like that. But well, I could see this scenario being super useful. I mean, the other day we had an issue with one of our internal sites, and our whole team was like, "Hey, are you able to access this?" And we all kind of spent 5 or 10 minutes here or there, kind of testing things out. And it
Right.
would have been cool just to get the notification that says, "Hey, this is down for right now. we'll let you know when it's back up. And then that we wouldn't have wasted that, man hour over the course of, 5-10 people having that conversation and saying that.
And you'll also know why it's down, right? Because then it traverses
Correct.
down from the application down to the network with the different agents, so you
Right.
know what the blockage is.
And it's usually DNS.
I mean, just to show you real quick, all the data that we can get from this test. This is the transaction, of course, right? And I have another version that it's ready. I'm running this from some cloud agents. And for example, this is a screenshot when it's okay. The browser already hit on the file, and you're hitting the download button. I wanted to capture that moment. And then we're also taking another capture screenshot whenever the application is already logged off or you have already signed out, right? You could do three screenshots that we can record in this test. You can have more, right? But only the last three will give you an image, right? And we can select a specific agent, and we can see the waterfall. The way I built this, it's doing markers. Okay, this is all the time that it took to sign in, 6 seconds. It's 6 seconds roughly to download a file, and then other 6 seconds to sign out. And we can see all the different objects. Like, for example, if there's an error in here, like one of these is sending a 500 error, you can generate an alert based upon this. And the notification can be a simple email, or it can also be like maybe you have ServiceNow. So you integrate it in there, you send something, depending on the severity of what it's catching. You can even generate an automatic ticket for your NOC or SOC to be able to look at it, and instead of being reactive, you're being proactive and you're detecting the issues even before when the customers are even complaining, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mario,
This is great.
This is
You
some
keep
really good stuff here. I think we could play with it for hours, and I think there's a lot more we could do even. But unfortunately, we're almost at time. So before we
yeah.
let you go, I have a couple of things for you. I think there is a tutorial on how to do this on Cisco U available when this airs. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah, that is our goal, like to get this within Cisco U.
So snackers, we'll put the link somewhere here on the screen for you. Check out that Cisco U tutorial. And Matt, you want to do the honors since Mario is a first time guest?
All right, Mario. Which superpower would you choose to have and why?
I would say, to me, the most important one is wisdom, because if you're able to get the knowledge on how to do things, like accomplish like a project, even though you may not have a super strength, you're able to get people that can work with you to get it done. So to me, it's wisdom.
Wisdom. I love that one. All right. Well, thank you, Mario, and thank you, Snackers, for your time, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you, snackers.